Hello, Olo again, nuggets of wisdom coming at you again. Just want to drop some gems with you today. Basically, today's topic might be one of the controversial topics I've ever done on my channel, but it has to be said, it has to be put out there, and I'm not one who do anything political on my channel, but today is going to be a little different. My topic today is very simple. Black immigrants from anywhere in the world have no right to disrespect my African American brothers and sisters. It will all make sense later. Let's talk about it. Welcome back. While it is like, share, hit the notification bell for new content. Olu, why are you talking about this today? Are you about to stir some trouble again? Don't we have enough? Don't we have to talk about it? I get that. We talk about a lot of nonsense on social media. Who's got money? Who doesn't have money? See, the problem I have with a lot of my fellow brothers is that sometimes when we have some notoriety, we don't know how to maybe to articulate. Maybe we have no grace. Maybe we have no understanding. I don't understand it, but let me make sense. It's going to make all sense to you when I finish. So what I'm going to do today, I'm going to run one video that I came across that got me hot, that got me bothered, that I needed to actually look at this stuff, and I heard this so many times, and I had to come to a point that I need to address it. So let me get into it very quickly. 1 second, guys. 1 second. I can key it up here. 1 second.
The generations that were born within the last 50 to 60 years never really been through anything but the most coddled generation. And I can see why women don't respect men in America. I can see why everybody is sitting there asking Biden in order to forgive their student loans. I can see why Americans is weak. Nigerians, Jamaicans, any kind of immigrant come over here in this country and mop the floor with Americans, but specifically, let's just talk about black people, because I know it's this thing. Black people don't really unite until they can find a European enemy. Black immigrants don't respect people that are traditionally born in America, especially black people that were born in America. They work relentlessly, eat, sleep, grind, hustle, and go and get it. So when they finally get over into America and they see the opportunities that's presented to them over there, it ain't nothing that Americans can do. You trying to figure out how to work 40 hours and then go to sleep, and you can't even wake up in order to get to your job that you work from home for. You can't even make the meeting on time. The generations that were born with...
I start with this. This brother got me hot when he started mentioning, let me give you a little background. I'm from Nigerian descent. I was born in the UK, and my parents from West Africa, Nigeria. I have lived in Nigeria. I've lived in the US, right? And I've lived in the UK. So when some people are talking, they have no insight to what they're talking about, right? They say all these things to say that we can come over here as immigrants and believe that we're going to disrespect the folks who has been fighting for over 400 years for them to even have civil rights to live on. How dare you? So if you're not that person, I talk to my fellow Nigerians, Africans. Yes, we may disagree. Yes, we may not flow everywhere. Yes, they may be different in cultures or different in where we interact. But how dare you? Because I always say to you, without them, there's no us. There's no immigration. Trust me, I believe it. I went to England in the 80s, in 89, 90. When you're in a country whereby you do not run anything, that's why with my passport, they didn't treat us the same. So I want you to understand these people. Stop the nonsense. Stop it. Because it makes absolutely no sense. These folks have history that you cannot, if you went through the same thing they went through, you won't be stuck in the same way. But I'm going to go further than this because I don't want to just keep on talking. I'm going to give you some other content. Today I'm going to do a little bit of talking. I'm going to run another video that I want you to see. Probably saw this during the Judge Floyd time. I want you to check very carefully, so you listen to me very carefully on this one. 1 second. I'm going to run this one.
If I right now decided that I wanted to play Monopoly with you, and for 400 rounds of playing Monopoly, I didn't allow you to have any money, I didn't allow you to have anything on the board, I didn't allow for you to have anything, and then we played another 50 rounds of Monopoly, and everything that you gained and you earned while you were playing that round of Monopoly was taken from you. How can you win? How can you win? You can't win. The game is fixed. So when they say, why do you burn down the community? Why do you burn down your own neighborhood? It's not ours. We don't own anything. We don't own anything. So the social contract is broken. And if the social contract is broken, why the f*** do I give a shit about burning the Football Hall of Fame, about burning the circuit? You broke the contract when you killed us in the streets and didn't give a f***. You broke the contract when for 400 years we played your game and built your wealth.
Man, neither I say more, man. Miss Kimberly Jones. She said it here 400 years. Let's give us a good analogy here, man. Let's start the money game. You guys who are economics, you got a lot of money, you're smart, you know what you're talking about. Let's do it. I come here for the last 100 years. My great-great-great-great-grandfather has 1,000 acres of land, right? He gave it to my dad's father. My dad's great-grandfather gave it to my dad. They now gave it to me. Would I have money or would I not have money? Simple analogy. Because this gets on me so most of the time. It's making me hot. It's apple and oranges. You can't compare. And it's not as if there's this, my folks, my brothers and sisters, and their generation has not tried. It's not as if they've not worked on these things. It's not as if they've not started their own businesses. What's wrong with us? Because we're being gypped and tricked. We can disagree. That's okay. It's how we disagree. And that we are the only race of people that everybody makes fun of because we never come together. And the guys who have a little money, they're on this YouTube channel, Mr. Anthony, I call you out. And all these guys got little money, they have a little checks in their pocket. Now they have no sense anymore. This thing is on the internet. It's simple information, people. You can Google this stuff. But no, you're not going to listen to that. Black immigrants, how dare you? If you're Nigerian, if you're Zambian, if you're African, if you're Jamaican, and you come over and disrespect your people, go read their history. Let me read the next one. Sorry, I'm a little hot. Sweaty down here. Let me look at this one. 1 second. Now I'm going to listen to one of my favorite preachers. Is no longer here again, Mr. Dr. K.C. Price. Let's listen to him. This happened in 1997, guys. Let's listen. 1 second. 1 second. Come on.
We played Monopoly the other night, and I didn't take any money. I wanted to take the place of the slaves that were emancipated in 1865, who did not get the 40 acres or the mule. And so I took nothing. I survived for a few times around the board, but I couldn't buy nothing, and it was very soon I was out of the game. Now you would say that is unfair, to have somebody sit down at a table and play Monopoly and not give them the $1,500 to start with. But that's what this country did with our people when they emancipated us. And then have the audacity the unmitigated gall to wonder why we don't do better.
That's because of the KC Price. Just listen to him, man. Need I say more, guys? We didn't start the same way. We don't have the same start, especially from my African American brothers. If any of our generation went through the same thing they went through, I double guarantee we won't survive it. All your education will not matter. All your PhDs will not matter. All your houses will not matter. They made an economic environment so people like me all over the world can work on what we already have and build up. Am I saying it's easy? No. Do you have to work for it? Absolutely. But they still made that platform. It made it easy for me to come over here so I can be an IT consultant, make a 6-figure salary a year, do well at what I do. Don't underestimate that. I'm going to give you one more. Let's go. Let me put it here. Let's start playing.
Are you all familiar with the Tulsa massacre of 1921? The Greenwood District in Tulsa, Oklahoma, also known as Black Wall Street, was among the most prosperous neighborhoods in America and a Black utopia. Unfortunately, it was burned to the ground. O.W. Gurley, a wealthy Black landowner, purchased 40 acres of land in Tulsa in 1906 and named the area Greenwood. Its population stemmed largely from formerly enslaved Black people and sharecroppers who relocated to the area fleeing the racial terror they experienced in other areas. But Oklahoma, which became a state in 1907, was still heavily segregated at the time. So as Gurley opened a boarding house, grocery stores, and sold land to other Black people, they secured their own houses and opened businesses. The population grew to 11,000 and the area became an economic powerhouse affectionately called Black Wall Street. Greenwood functioned independently with its own school system, post office, bank, library, hospital, and public transit.
They had businesses, guys. There were doctors, dentists, different things, businesses. One of them bought 40 acres of land and started their own stuff. Built businesses. Thriving businesses. So if my grandfather had land in 1921, 2023, how wealthy would those families be today? Because it gets me when I hear these people talk a lot of this nonsense. Especially these YouTubers that have a little money. You got a lot of likes, so you can say whatever. We can mop the ground. When you talk about numbers, it gets on me. The numbers are not telling me everything. You're not giving me the underlying factors. Let's get on with it.
It also had luxury shops, restaurants, grocery stores, hotels, jewelry, and clothing stores. They also had their own movie theaters, barbershops, salons, pool halls, nightclubs, and office for doctors, lawyers, and dentists. The area thrived as an ancillary economy that kept money within the community. Even those who worked outside of Greenwood only spent their money in the area, reinvesting in the neighborhood. This prosperity continued throughout the years, even at
They only invested in the community. This is what the Jews do. The money goes into the hands of Jews 7 times. They already had this principle before. This is what gets me. It doesn't take a whole lot of day. It took me about 45 minutes to get all this together. It doesn't take a whole lot to find this information. Before you go online and say, Nigerians should mock them. We have nothing without my brothers and sisters in this country. Without them, how can I come here? So every neighborhood you live in, every house you live in, every profession you think you have, was because somebody somewhere did the work, fought, blood and tears. It don't just happen. So now you are the entrepreneur because you make money? How dare you? Let's go. I'm not talking to everybody. If it does not apply, let it fly. Let's finish this up.
Even even as racial terrorism around Tulsa grew. The KKK gained power, and Oklahoma's Supreme Court regularly upheld voting restrictions such as poll taxes and literacy tests for black voters. By 1919, white civic leaders sought Greenwood's land for a railroad depot or other uses. As the Greenwood population started to grow and evolve, white people were becoming more and more irate. But what exactly ignited the massacre? Stay tuned for part 2.
I'm going to leave it as there. Need I say more? Because this is what we do. Mr. Anton Daniels talking about black immigrants. You see, I was about to get quiet. But when you mention Nigerian, I got to say something. And if you're doing it as a Nigerian, shame on you. If you're not those guys doing it, then let it fly. But if you've ever, we can disagree. We can have our problems. But I always want you to remember, if you're a black immigrant in the United States of America, that without our African American brothers and sisters, we don't have a chance. Period. I don't care how much money you make. Let's go deeper. This is going to be some teaching today. January 1, 1863, we had the Emancipation Proclamation by Abraham Lincoln. And you know and I know, when they have legislation in America, even today, it doesn't matter that things don't change overnight. Right? So, during that time, there was the Greenwood we just mentioned. They got it burnt down to the rest. From 1863, right, to 1964, the Civil Rights Movement, the Civil Rights Act of 1964 was passed. And let's say what it says. The passage of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 marked a milestone in the long struggle to extend civil, political, and legal rights and protections to African Americans, including former slaves and their descendants, and to end segregation in public and private facilities. Let's break that down. Emancipation and Proclamation in 1863. Civil Rights Act in 1964. How many years between 1863 and 1964? 101 years. So my African American brothers and sisters became actually kind of free in 1964. Brothers, I don't want to age myself. I was born in 1967. I don't have it all together. I don't have all my answers. So basically, you have only to be really be free. Yeah, black people have found a way to make money. It's probably like 58 years, right? And you want to compare. I can go on. There's so many other things that happened. The GI Bill, that people didn't get the money. Different things that happened. The redlining. I can go on and on about that. But that's by the side. So actually, as a person, you only started actually coming to the own of the country 58 years ago. And now you're supposed to do wonders. Oh, of course, we have Michael Jordan, we have Oprah, the billionaires, everyone's making some money. So what? But you had over 400 years, even in the last 50 years, to go through all this trauma and this thing that you've been going through. Let's go further. In the 1980s, there's the war against drugs. The prison population boomed in 1980 from 50,000 into 1997 to 400,000. Another way to destroy who are the people who are in prison? Black folks, black men. And you now say, oh, they're not respected. They've been through a lot. Son grandfather is in the prison, son is in the prison, son is in the prison, uncle's in the prison. And now they need to, we are mopping the floor. Yeah, we're going to mop the floor. It was given to us. They fought for it. Get into your head, people. Let's go further. That's about it. So I'm going to finish with this. I can go on. Also, since then, to this moment, we're being social engineered. We're being controlled. Our minds are controlled by the matrix. I'm going to put one article I put up. I know I'm dropping a lot of information today. It's a lot, but I just have to say this, man. This is crazy. I came across this article that was very powerful as well. It's a commentary about the Willie Lynch syndrome. So after my ancestors were actually out of slavery, it didn't stop there. They may not be in chains anymore, but they were messed up in their minds, so it became mental slavery. Let me read this for you very quickly. Mental slavery is a subliminal tactic used to keep African Americans in psychological chains for generations. In 1712, Willie Lynch prophesied this method of control that will be pushed in inferior mentality on the enslaved and eliminate the strength in numbers that unity provided African Americans. So basically, they know if we come together, if the black community come together, we can do a lot of things together. We can pull our money together, and which black people they've been trying to do. But this guy, it was socially engineered in our minds. In other words, we were mind effed. So when you are doing these things, remember there are a lot of forces against the black community. Do we have our problems? Absolutely. Are there things that we need to resolve? Without a doubt. Are there things we need to change? Absolutely. But to go on and start keep on saying that we have to keep on disrespecting each other, this is the problem I had with a lot of guys on social media. We want to put out the problems, but we certainly want to look at what the solutions are. I'm going to finish with this. I'll be out of your way very quickly. This has been a long video. Normally don't do this long video at all, but I have to finish with this one. What are the questions we need to ask to know that we're not being socially controlled, socially engineered? What are those questions? Number one, when anybody is selling, look at this thing. If anybody is selling anything, remember, am I being socially engineered? And am I being mind effed? To put it lightly. When you make a statement, my brothers, when you make a statement, my sisters, am I being socially engineered or not? Number two, we can disagree. We don't have to be the same people. We don't have to agree on everything. But it's how we disagree that matters. It's the vitriol, the disrespect they put down on others that's actually the worst. The last thing, myself included, I'm not saying I'm all 100%. What am I doing personally, collectively, as a group to improve the plight of our community? Those are the three questions you need to ask. I'll close with that. I hope this helps you, but I have a word for you. Black immigrants, move to the United States, you have no right to disrespect my African American brothers and sisters. Without them, there's no us. I love you. God bless you. I'm out.